every dollar this Liberal government spends.
That government works for people.
And I hope they support our budget.
Find out just how much more they're going to take out of the pockets.
Mr. Speaker, every dollar this Liberal government spends comes out of the pockets of hardworking Canadians in either inflation or tax hikes. And today we'll find out just how many dollars this government is going to take out of the pockets of Canadians. There is going to be one difference today. After today, every tax rate, every piece of red tape, every rule, regulation, and every bit of wasteful spending will be exactly how this Prime Minister wants it. Conservatives have been clear. We will not support a costly budget that makes life more expensive for Canadians. So instead of asking Canadians to pay more for a big bloated bureaucracy, why not bring in an affordable budget that lowers prices for everyone?
Scheer is fired up, framing the Liberals' spending as a direct hit on Canadians' wallets. He's appealing to working families who are feeling the pinch of inflation.
The Honourable Government House Leader.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Then it's a great day for the official opposition because we are going to have an affordable budget. We are going to have an historic budget that creates opportunity for young people and Canadians from to coast, building this country, making sure that government works for people, invests in their communities. And, Mr. Speaker, we look forward to having the
McKinnon counters with optimism, pitching the budget as beneficial for young people and communities, trying to soften the criticism and maintain confidence.
Conservatives support this great budget.
The Honourable Member for Regina Capel.
That would be an 11th hour change because this government has been telling young Canadians that they're going to have to sacrifice more so that government gets bigger and bigger. They even try to deny that their hidden taxes on food makes life more expensive. They call those hidden taxes imaginary. Let me tell you, the farmer that has to pay the industrial carbon tax on his new equipment or on the fertilizer he buys has to pass those costs on to Canadians, and food prices go up as a result. He doesn't have the option to not pay the industrial carbon tax on farm equipment and fertilizer. So
Scheer emphasizes the tangible impact of government policies on farmers, turning abstract taxes into concrete examples Canadians can relate to.
A concrete measure to help bring prices down would be to scrap the industrial carbon tax. Will they do that today?
Here we go again, Mr. Speaker, with these imaginary taxes. There is no tax on food. There will never be a tax on groceries. And great news for the opposition, today's budget won't have any of these imaginary taxes in them either. What this budget will have are historic investments in young people, in building this country, in building community.
McKinnon dismisses the allegations, keeping the focus on the government's long-term vision rather than reacting to every criticism.
And in making this country stronger, Mr. Speaker.
The Honourable Member for Regina Capel.
Farmers can call up CRA and say that the carbon tax on farm equipment and fertilizer is just imaginary, or maybe they can write imaginary checks to pay for them, Mr. Speaker. But it's not just the industrial carbon tax that's driving up food prices, it's also the Liberal fuel standard. When truckers take the food from farms to factories to grocery stores, they can't tell Revenue Canada that those taxes are imaginary. They have to pay that extra 17 cents a litre.
Scheer is emphasizing that it's not just the industrial carbon tax affecting farmers, but also fuel standards that increase transportation costs. He's making the point that these policies directly raise food prices for everyday Canadians, and he's calling on the Liberals to remove these burdens to ease the cost of living.
So again, to help bring prices down for working Canadians, why not scrap the fuel standards that are driving up food costs?
The Honourable Minister of the Environment and Climate Change.
Mr. Speaker, this is more about the talk of imaginary taxes coming from the other side. Right. But you know what? If you want to talk about clean fuel regulations, you don't even have to just take my word for it that's not a tax. You can check the Canola Digest because they point out this provides opportunities for farmers. When we're talking about biofuels, this is an important place. It's an opportunity for canola farmers. I hope that they support it, and I hope that
Debreson tries to reframe the conversation, turning the focus from costs to opportunities. She's defending the government's position while staying positive.
they support our budget.
Every dollar this Liberal government spends comes out of the pockets of Canadians through higher taxes and higher inflation. And today at 4 o'clock, we're going to find out just how much more they're going to take out of the pockets of Canadians. And Canadians could be paying $300 to $400 more in grocery costs because of their food packaging tax. And Canadians are looking for an affordable budget for an affordable life. So will the Prime Minister instead scrap his food packaging tax instead of trying to engineer a costly election with his costly budget?
Barrett highlights the financial impact, using concrete numbers to make the argument relatable and urgent.
The Honourable Secretary of State for Financial Institutions.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This is an historic day for our country. Today, our government will table a generational, disciplined budget. We will transform our economy from reliance to resilience and build our economy in the strongest in the G7. We will spend less on government operation and invest more in capital projects and build our economy into the strongest economy in the G7. I hope the party opposite cuts the rhetoric and will support us and vote.
Wayne Long is presenting the budget as a disciplined, forward-looking plan, highlighting economic resilience and growth. He's aiming to reassure Canadians that the government is focused on strengthening the economy. He's calling on the opposition to support this vision.
For our budget. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honourable Member for Leeds, Grenville, Thousand Islands, Rideau Lakes.
We've heard this same tune from these Liberals before, and the result? 2.2 million Canadians visiting food banks. Their industrial carbon tax is another example of driving up costs for everyday Canadians. They're paying more and they're getting less. We want to know why they continue with these taxes, like their food packaging tax, that even Deloitte, we know they love consultants, and Deloitte is saying that it's raising the price of produce by 30%. So will the Prime Minister, while he's still got a chance, commit, instead of having a costly election, to having an affordable...
Barrett counters strongly, pointing out real-world consequences of Liberal policies, higher food costs, and more Canadians relying on food banks. He's emphasizing that promises of growth aren't enough if everyday Canadians are paying more and getting less.
Affordable budget for affordable lives for Canadians.
The Honourable Secretary of State.
Mr. Speaker, there is no food packaging tax. The party opposite is obsessed with imaginary taxes. Let's talk affordability, Mr. Speaker. Let's talk about cutting taxes for 22 million Canadians. No notes on that. Let's talk about cutting the tax for first-time homebuyers. No comments on that. Let's talk about cutting the consumer carbon tax. No comments on that, Mr. Speaker. On this side of the House, we are focused on affordability for Canadians. Canadians made a choice in the last election. They chose our side. They chose our Prime Minister. They rejected...
Wayne Long dismisses the opposition's claims and positions the budget as forward-looking and disciplined, focusing on long-term gains.
That leader. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The Honourable Member for Kildonan St. Paul.
Mr. Speaker, every dollar the Liberal spends, we know, comes from the pockets of Canadians, which drives up taxes and inflation. And now they're making it worse with their hidden food taxes. For example, the Liberal packaging plastic ban will add $5.6 billion to food prices because, of course, it forces producers to use more costly packaging that doesn't preserve food as well, which, of course, means shorter shelf lives, more waste, and higher food prices. So will the Prime Minister stop trying to engineer this costly election with his costly budget and instead scrap this
Raquel Doncho connects government policies directly to Canadians' wallets, emphasizing the real-world impact and urgency.
$6 billion hidden food tax, Mr. Speaker.
The Honourable Government Leader.
Mr. Speaker, as my colleagues said, there is no tax. It's an imaginary tax. There is no tax on food packaging.
McKinnon is firmly dismissing the opposition's claims, labeling them as imaginary, while maintaining a confident and controlled tone.
Mr. Speaker, the experts are telling us that these food packaging taxes will add $5.6 billion, and that's just one of them. They're also forcing the food industry to redesign food labels, of all things, which will add an additional $8 billion to the cost of food. Canadians aren't asking the Liberals to redesign food labels.
Doncho is emphasizing the real financial impact of these policies, using concrete figures to make the argument relatable. She frames the government's actions as creating unnecessary costs for Canadians and presses for accountability, highlighting urgency and concern for everyday families.
Mr. Speaker, they're asking for more affordable food. So will they scrap this hidden food tax and save Canadians some money?
The Honourable Government House Leader.
Mr. Speaker, there is no food packaging tax. There is no food labeling tax. There is no tax on groceries. These are imaginary taxes, and repeating these same lines is not going to make them.
McKinnon is firmly dismissing the opposition's claims, labeling them as imaginary. He's trying to reassure Canadians that the government is not imposing new costs on food, while maintaining a confident and controlled tone.
Real.
Member for Oshawa.
Mr. Speaker, every dollar the Liberals spend comes straight out of the pockets of Canadians through higher taxes and the skyrocketing cost of living. The Liberals can gaslight and call fuel regulations tax imaginary all they want, but my neighbours in Oshawa will feel the hit up to 17 cents per litre more for gas. Will the Prime Minister stop trying to engineer a costly election with a costly budget and finally scrap the fuel regulations tax?
Kirkland brings a local perspective, showing that these policies are not just numbers, they affect everyday Canadians at the pump.
The Honourable Minister of Jobs and Family.
Here's what we're going to do. We're going to stand up for Canadians every single day. We're going to invest in their futures. We're going to invest in the jobs that Canadians are talking about they want to take up. Mr. Speaker, this is a time when Canadians have pulled together to build Canada strong, and that's exactly what our budget's going to do. We're going to make sure the tools are there for every Canadian.
Haidu takes a more inspirational tone, focusing on investment and national pride, rather than debating costs directly.
Who is protecting this country? I hope these guys get on board.
Today's debate highlighted the clash between Conservatives and Liberals over Canada's budget. Conservatives focused on the rising costs, hidden taxes, and the impact on farmers and everyday Canadians. Liberals, on the other hand, emphasized investments in young people, communities, and a long-term vision for economic growth. From this debate, we learned that every policy has real consequences for Canadians' wallets, whether it's fuel regulations, food packaging, or carbon taxes. The key takeaway is the importance of accountability and understanding exactly how government spending affects daily life. As Canadians watch these debates, it's clear that discussions about affordability, economic growth, and fairness will continue to shape the country's future.